This is DaveNoseworthyMMA.
This Saturday, the Octagon touches down in Dallas, Texas for UFC 228, where we're going to see welterweight champion Tyron Woodley defend the crown against that behemoth of a welterweight in Darren Till. The narrative going into this one seems to mostly be about Till and whether or not he's going to make weight. There are a lot of people out there that are convinced that this fight isn't even happening, and you can't really blame them for feeling that way. When the promotion tells top-ranked welterweight Kamaru Usman to be in Dallas to make weight in the event that someone in the main event falls out, it's bound to create doubt amongst pundits and fans alike. It was never explicitly stated, but the writing's on the wall. Usman is specifically there to step in the event Till can't hit championship weight come Friday morning. But no matter what happens, it's going to be an entertaining saga. It's either Till manages to beat the scale, flip off all the doubters, and rehydrate to get ready to perform on Saturday night, or at the very last minute, we get a totally different fight, and sometimes that can make for an even more interesting affair than what was originally planned. Just based off the circumstances of an individual stepping up on very short notice, it becomes intriguing for entirely new reasons. So fans are in for a treat with UFC 228 either way. But there's a storyline on this card that isn't getting the attention it deserves. It's a fight that is taking place on the Fight Pass prelims, and it's getting zero shine from where I'm standing, so I'm just here to put a little bit of light on that, the best I can anyways. I can't be too high and mighty though, because the reality is I only learned of this fact this week from John Anik on the Anik and Florian podcast, but it was something that firstly I had absolutely no idea about, and secondly, something that I was very surprised to hear hasn't been talked about in the media. This Saturday, when UFC vet Jim Miller steps in the cage, he's going to be setting the record for having the most UFC fights in history with a very large and round number of 30. And simply put, that's incredible. It's one thing to make it to the show, but staying there is a whole other ballgame. A lot of fighters come and go. You all know how it is. You're only good as your last fight. So it's not uncommon for fighters to have a short shelf life in the best promotion in the world. It's extremely tough to stay at the top level for any extended period of time. Championships, fight night bonuses, and highlight reel finishes are fantastic, but having longevity in the sport, especially at the elite level, is the most impressive feat of all to pull off, and Jim Miller has officially done that in spades. There are a number of things that make this accomplishment special. The fact that Miller is a grizzled vet, but is just 35 years old for one, and yes, I'm aware you're not exactly a grasshopper at that age in the fight game, but provided you can stay healthy and minimize damage as much as humanly possible throughout those years, as Miller did, if the desire and the love is still existent, there's a lot of runway left to go. It's also quite impressive to be able to say you've fought the elite of the most talent-rich division in MMA since 2006. It's impressive to be able to say you've done that for 3 years of your life. Never mind 12 years. Just take a look at this resume. Miller has fought Frank Yegder, Dwayne Ludwig, Gray Maynard, Charles Oliveira, Benson Henderson, Nate Diaz, Joe Lozon, Donald Cerrone, Michael Chiesa, Diego Sanchez, Takanori Gomi, Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis, and he's still here getting ready to jump back into the win column. He's riding a tough 4-fight losing streak, but it's against the top talent this division has to offer. I mentioned the welterweight championship fight at the top of this episode. Just for perspective, Jim Miller has been kicking ass in the UFC since Matt Serra was the reigning welterweight champion. And here we are over 10 years later, and it's business as usual for the New Jersey tough guy as he readies himself for another night at the office. So I'm sending out a memo to longtime hardcore fans and new fans of the sport alike to tune in to Fight Pass for the early prelims this Saturday, and also sending out a big congratulations to Jim Miller for making history.